Welcome to Brew Crime, the podcast where we drink brews, talk crime, conspiracies, or whatever catches our attention. This is Mike and my co-host.
The poor man's Justin Timberlake. I'm JT.
Yes, that only took 2 tries by me.
I'm the poor man's Justin Timberlake, the rich man's Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I don't know who the hell I am.
Nice. Well, we are back. Woohoo!
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I guess
Yeah, we're gonna be doing crimes of Prince Edward Island again. But
yes.
in July, Brew Crime will be heading to the True Crime and Paranormal Podcast Festival in Denver, Colorado, which is very exciting. It's July 12th to 14th, and we have a promo code.
Heyo.
Yeah, so if you want to come meet us, you can get 15% off your ticket. You go to truecrimepodcastfestival.com and you can put in the code BREWS, BREWS, and get 15% off.
It's not only a beer, but it's how the Canadians say bros.
Yes,
Hey,
Brews.
Bruce.
I think that's actually more South Africa.
It probably is. Which, in case nobody knows, is not Canada.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been talking about it, and I mean, I know us, and if you come by and then there's beer, then hey, it's a good day.
Exactly. And I mean, I went last year in Austin, Texas. It was a lot of fun. I am hoping it's not as hot in Denver, Colorado as it was in Austin, because when we were there, it was an average of 42 Celsius, which is
Far too
surface of
hot.
the sun. Um,
107. Oh,
yeah, it was disgusting. I went for one walk to the liquor store because it was a little expensive at the bar, and like 10-minute walk was brutal.
that is quite like I know that, we're agnostic, atheist, etc., but that is the hand of God being like, fuck you for your political decisions in the state.
Yes, exactly.
It's like I
Yeah.
was like, oh, look at those ants. What assholes. Here's a magnifying glass.
Yeah,
Um,
and the only thing is like Austin's like one of the less like that places, but still, yeah.
no, that's very true. And I don't mean that as a blanket statement. They're very pinpointed magnifying glasses.
Especially down by the border.
I mean,
Grr.
for all we know, it was just Mike, and because he's going to hell, we all know that. So.
Doesn't exist, but yes. There goes listeners. All right. Well, this week we're going back to Prince Edward Island again. One of the
We
last
tried.
provinces and territories for us to cover
Yes.
in
There,
this, roundabout of crime in Canada.
I know. So like, there wasn't like a ton that I could find that for crime wise, but I ended
Yeah.
up finding a crime, and the outcome was really cool because of how everything happened. So Connie Willis says, quote, cats, as you know, are impervious to threats. I
I can see
agree.
that. Yeah. They're just assholes, but
We're right. And great segue. I'm notoriously not a cat person. I don't I don't hate cats. But I think there's a place for every animal, and if it's not on the earth, it's on a plate.
yes.
So that's so messed up. I mean, well, listen, maybe not every animal because fuck mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'll take mosquitoes over some people at this. Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you one person who's no longer a cat person, Douglas Leo Beamish. Well, actually, he probably still loves little Snowball, but he shouldn't. Why? I'm gonna jump the shark and bury the lead because Snowball put him in prison.
Oh shit.
This
Narc.
starts right. This starts out like a brewery, but it ends on a brew crime. This is just how this works. And I know that it sounds Hoppy Holiday-ish, but it's definitely not. So the murder of Shirley Duguay, it's either Duguay or Duguay. I'm gonna go with Duguay. The murder of Shirley Duguay in Prince Edward Island, or PEI for short, was tragic. Now, while I don't have all the details on their backstory, and I looked because it drives me crazy when I don't have all the info to figure out why things happen, I think I was able to find out enough to just kind of make me feel okay. But just as a bit of a filler, Here's some cool facts about Prince Edward Island. Let's see if you knew these. PEI is Canada's smallest and only island province. There are no land borders. It is the smallest, but also the most densely populated province in Canada.
Yes, but still very few people live there.
Mm. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. If I can get two people on a quarter, that's pretty dense.
True.
So PEI has official symbols of the province. Like other places, their official bird's the blue jay. Their official animal is the red fox. Their official
Ooh.
flower is lady slipper. Official tree is red oak. And I didn't really know this was a thing, but I guess some places have an official soil, and it's Charlottetown soil. I
Okay.
I think it's pretty egotistical for Charlottetown to name the soil after itself. Um,
Yeah.
It's been around a while. Maybe you should call yourselves Soil instead. PEI is named after Prince Edward. Shocker.
Yeah, no
What's
doubt.
funny is that Prince Edward never set foot on PEI, and he self-advocated the name for the island in an extremely Trumpian move.
Yes.
However, on
The Great
another side,
Island.
right? It's going to be a great island. Some people say the best. So on the other side of that, though, apparently he did take a keen interest in the welfare of the society there, advocated for the unification of colonies long before the conference was held to do so. He was the first person on record to use the term Canadian for both French and English inhabitants together. So,
Hmm.
eh, probably because it was just too hard to remember two things.
Well, and it was also a mispronunciation of an indigenous word, Canada. So yeah.
Oh, well, it was definitely royalty
I
then.
think I
Well,
think it meant I think what they were saying was like house or home. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
great
White people.
podcasting. Just a nod. Yeah, oh, white people. PEI has the longest multi-purpose trail at 449 kilometers or 279 miles. The birthplace of Lucy Maud Montgomery, the author of Anne of Green Gables, which she used PEI as the setting and was termed, quote, the most lovable child in fiction.
Hmm.
Uh, it is not the location of, but it's pretty damn close to Oak Island, the home of the mystery on Oak Island from the History Channel. Now that's in Nova
Totally
Scotia,
true.
but it's super close. Uh, I have caught up, and I have one. I'm like up to their episodes now. When do I watch this? When I don't need to pay attention to anything. Because
Yeah.
what are they going to do? Are they going to ask a billion questions every time they found a piece of metal under the earth? What could this mean? The man who narrates has the easiest fucking job in the world because he never has to answer shit. He just asks a bunch of questions. Ah, okay.
Yep.
That's the last bit there. Shirley Ann Duguay was born on October 11th, 1962. She was from Prince Edward Island and was the mother of five children. She lived in Sunnyside, a city of 16,000. She went missing late in 1994, was declared as such, but then was later found in an unmarked grave. So on October 7th, 1994, Shirley's abandoned car was found in a field near Tyne Valley. She was last seen on October 3rd, 1994. Upon finding the car, RCMP did a large search of the area because the vehicle was splattered with her blood and,
Oh,
well, it
jeez.
was her car.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Right. So samples of the blood were sent off to forensics. They came back as belonging to Shirley. They recruited 120 members of the CFB Gagetown to search to no avail. On May 6th, 1995, now remember, the car was found October 7th, 94. May 6th, 95, a trout fisherman found a shallow grave around 10 miles from where the car was found, and it was Shirley Duguay.
Yeah.
Her hands were
One
tied.
thing you said
Hmm?
that CFB, what was that? And that'd
Gage,
probably be the Canadian Forces base, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Gagetown.
Yeah. So yeah, the military got involved with the search.
They did. And they didn't. They apparently only searched 9.5 miles instead of 10. I'm being sarcastic. I don't know how much they searched, but she was only 10 miles away.
Yeah.
Um, so her hands were tied behind her back, and she had been beaten about the head with such force that a tooth was propelled into one lung.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So earlier than when her body was found, A military team was 6 miles from Shirley's house when they stumbled upon a plastic bag. This was before her body was found, like I said. The contents included a man's leather jacket and tennis shoes. Both of these items were found to
Ooh.
be stained with Shirley's blood. The shoes were Beamish's size, and the soles were worn in a way consistent with his walk. I think we can all state that this evidence is tenuous at best and
Yeah.
wasn't enough to get anyone arrested. But it was there, right?
No, for sure. It's still good evidence for when you catch the person.
Oh, absolutely. So before we get into the jacket, I think it's important to kind of know some of the following. Douglas Leo Beamish was Shirley's estranged husband, and I think it's safe to say that at this point he was the primary suspect in her disappearance and eventual death once they found Shirley. They had suspected
Hmm.
foul play from the beginning, but it was really hard to say that was the case without a body. At the time of these events, Beamish was living with his parents. There were warning signs, and I don't say that to victim blame, and I don't say that to say, quote, well, how didn't she know?
No,
But
for
if
sure.
right, but if we don't talk about these signs, how are we going to learn from them, right? Also, on top of this occurred in the 90s, and I don't know what that means other than grunge music and plaid were a thing, but it was the 90s.
True.
Beamish was known to police for his violent behavior, both in Toronto and PEI. Toronto Metro Police served him with a peace bond in 91, and Shirley had actually returned to the island to get away from him.
Oh,
Now,
jeez.
I'm sure you're wondering what a peace bond is. Well, maybe not Mike, but to the Americans out there in Canadian law, and since we're all lazy and I did the work for you, like a good group project member. A peace bond
Yes.
is an order from a criminal court that requires a person to keep the peace and be on good behavior for a period of time. It's almost like a pre-jail parole. It
Yeah,
kind of
sounds like it, yeah.
seems like. It
I
basically means,
actually hadn't heard that term before. So I don't know if
really.
that's maybe more of an Eastern Canadian thing or I'm just a bad Canadian and hadn't heard that.
I mean, I also could be talking out my butt, but I'm pretty
No,
sure it
no,
was in a
no.
couple of sources. So,
Absolutely.
so it basically means that the person who signs the bond must not be charged with any additional offenses for the length of its duration. During a separation they had in 92, Beamish wrote a letter that was introduced into the trial. This letter was to Shirley, and the crux of it is that Beamish couldn't be with Shirley, or if Beamish couldn't be with Shirley, he would kill her, their 3 children, and himself. To add to this, Beamish had a history of violence towards women. His former common law spouse described an incident in the mid 1980s in which she was beaten, raped, and threatened with her life at knife point in front of her children. This guy is a serious class A asshole.
Sounds like it.
So, Beamish has a prison record, an unsavory reputation with the ladies, and it wasn't just one person who reported abuse. There were multiple partners who did. So, we have suspect number one, who they did interview at his parents' home. He lived there since he and Shirley split 2 years earlier. He told RCMP that he had no idea where she could have gone. So, let's get back to the other piece of evidence in that plastic bag earlier, because that's where the rest of this story is, which is incredible. And not in a sarcastic way. It's just fucking incredible. So, in the bag was a jacket, and on that jacket was Shirley's blood. But that wasn't all. There were a few more than 20 white hairs embedded in the jacket lining. When tests were performed on those hairs, they were found to be from a cat. Now, they might have looked past this evidence. So what? Cat hairs. This is no big deal. People have pets. Could be anybody's.
Hmm.
Except there was a constable Rover Savoie. It's Savoie. I'm guessing it's Savoie. Um,
Probably.
yeah, who remembered that during their initial interview with Beamish, there was a white cat wandering around his parents' house. A cat named Snowball. So
Oh.
they determined that if this hair came from Snowball, there might be a really good chance it was Beamish. I mean, it certainly would have linked the home to the jacket, and I don't think
Hmm.
his dad had anything against Shirley. So again, this is the 90s. DNA is relatively new, especially in its use in criminal trials. The first genetic fingerprint conviction was made 7 years earlier in England. That was human DNA. Animal DNA had never been entered into evidence in a murder trial. So that officer had a super difficult time convincing anyone that the hairs could be used.
Hmm.
Uh, I honestly, I probably would have chuckled myself at that point, knowing as little as the world did about DNA.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he called scientists all over the world. The majority rejected the idea for political reasons, not wishing to get involved, which I see as complacency or aiding and abetting if the evidence would lead to conviction, but I'm probably the only one, or at least the only two.
No.
Uh, so,
And that was also the 90s. So in the
correct,
90s, I wouldn't have understood what you were talking about.
fair. Yeah. It wasn't until he got in contact with Stephen O'Brien, a geneticist in the good old US of A at the National Cancer Institute. He was, and I find this the strangest title ever, but who am I to judge, the world's foremost authority on feline DNA.
Interesting.
He was all about, nope, not going
Yeah,
there.
there
Nope,
is definitely a joke in there.
there is a joke in there, and I will keep the joke in and then out, and then in and then out, and then in and then out.
Yep.
So O'Brien, that Savoy called him his last hope. O'Brien was just psyched to be doing it because he thought it was interesting.
Yeah, for
So the
sure.
scientist got, I just imagine Savoy on the other side of the phone, like selling it and selling it and selling it and selling it. And O'Brien, like from the very beginning, was just like, yeah, let's do it. No, no, seriously, we're good. No, no, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm into this.
Like,
Yeah.
I already said yes. Like, you don't have to get me like a tennis bracelet with the engagement ring. We're good. So they
Yeah.
got so O'Brien got a team together. Savoy actually got a subpoena to draw a vial of blood from Snowball, which I find hysterical. And he took the cat's hairs and blood personally to O'Brien. He didn't want anything to fuck around with the evidence, and he didn't want to complain about the chain of custody.
For sure.
So good on him, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive work.
Yeah, one of the hairs, one out of the 20 plus had flesh attached, right? Because hair's not enough. It has to have the what I don't remember what that's called, but it's got to have.
Follicle?
Yeah, thank you. It's got to have the follicle. But they were able to pull DNA from that. And it matched Snowball. And O'Brien said that the chances of this being another cat were 45 million to 1. Gonna say it's Snowball.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's
There's a
not a
snowball's
snowball
chance.
chance in you guys just got that in stereo.
Yes.
um
God, I
So,
love it.
so this entire process happened. So the car's found, they find the bag. They do all of this before Shirley's actually found. This,
Wow.
this is all leading up to them. Upon finding her body, police arrested Beamish, charged him with first-degree murder. The trial included, as I mentioned before, the letter where he threatened murder. And here's the thing, it wasn't enough for him to be like, if I can't be with you, I'm murdering you, the kids, and myself. He signed it in his own blood.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Can't even
The
claim that it's faked.
right. The snozberries taste like snozberries. So also included was a testimony from an old girlfriend as well. Of course, the defense attorney said, and I'm sure he was proud of himself, quote, without the cat, the case falls flat.
Oh God. Does he have OJ's lawyer? If the glove don't fit, you
You
gotta
must
acquit or whatever
quit.
the hell it was. It must have
Oh
quit.
yeah. Yep. I mean, it didn't matter. The data was convincing and the jury found him guilty. He was sentenced to 18 years to life, July 19th, 1996. The funny thing is that there was very little attention paid to this case, other than at the local level. But when O'Brien and a few co-authors published an article about it in the scientific journal called Nature, people started paying attention.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, this trial set a huge precedent. It was the first time that non-human DNA was used as evidence in a murder trial. Not only that, but it was used to convict. Not only
Yeah.
that, but it was truly some of the only DNA evidence over hard evidence that they had. I mean,
Hmm.
that was it. So since then, hair, blood, even urine from dogs and cats have helped to solve several violent crimes in Canada and the US. In
Wow.
addition, Britain and the US have cat and dog DNA databases.
Hmm.
So where's Beamish? The guy who caused all of this, the Class A asshole who did what he did because he thought his kids were going to be taken away from him, of which they most assuredly are after the conviction.
Yeah.
Well, he's still in jail. He appealed his
Good.
conviction in 98 and 99. As you can imagine, he's been rejected each time. In one document I saw from a court decision on one of the appeals, it looks like he was acting as his own representative, which probably not the greatest idea, dude, but whatever.
No.
Um, Beamish was also up for parole in 2013, in which he was denied because, again, duh. The parole board found his conduct in prison as demanding and confrontational, and his case management team didn't think he should be released. He was violent, manipulative, stubborn, refused to follow anything people asked of him, and he was also verbally inappropriate with prison guards. All of this
Wow.
led to a rejection. Now, I, for one, am psyched for that decision.
Yeah,
It
me
leaves
too.
it leaves me purring. It certainly doesn't cause me to pause and let me out to whimper. I can tell you
Uh,
that for certain, right meow. And that's Beamish.
oh wow. That was good. I just looked to while you were finishing your story about peace
Yeah.
bonds. It is a
Yeah.
thing here.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Validation.
it's a court order 810 recognizance. I don't know. And it's for a period of not more than 12 months, and there's no convictions or charges necessary for it to be ordered. So, yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. So there doesn't
Hmm.
have to be, huh?
Yeah, no, there has to be a threat of harm to a community or a person.
So
But
so they put them on that under their own recognizant, like
no, it's like they're forced under this. It's like a probation order, but it's no charges required.
yeah, where it's like if you fuck up one more time, it's jail. But if you make it
Yeah.
through a lesser or something like I don't know. That's interesting. That's really
And it looks
interesting.
like it says possible. This is from the government of BC's website, so it might not be the same as in Ontario, but possible conditions would be like staying away from a particular person or a place, not carrying weapons, not using drugs or alcohol, obeying a curfew, or reporting regularly to police or a probation officer.
Jeez.
And the consequence for disobeying a peace bond
Ah,
is charged with a criminal offense and may be placed on probation for up to 3 years, fined with $5,000 and or sentenced to jail for up to 2 years.
well, fuck around and find out, as we like to say.
Heck yeah, that's actually neat though. I'd never heard of that, so I
Yeah, it
learned
is pretty cool.
something.
Well, there's your Prince Edward Island, everybody. Your Beamish and your Snowball. So
Woohoo!
I'm just wondering where a Snowball's chance in hell came from because I'm starting to feel like it might have been that one.
Yeah,
Might
and I
have-
also take back the narc comment because the cat didn't personally give it away. It was his
it,
hair.
it was.
So,
It was.
yeah. And
He can't
also,
help
he's a
that.
terrible person, so I'm glad he went to jail.
Right, right. That's like blaming a pube for
Yeah.
yeah, you just, you know.
No, like the cat would be a narc if it like walked up to a police officer. Mew mew. This way. Mew mew.
Mew mew. What if the cat walked up to the police officer and went pew pew?
Pew pew. He'd be going to jail with him then.
Right.
Threatening an officer.
Yeah, officer tackles the cat to the ground, can't grab him, pulls his arm behind, still can't grab him. Oh my God. There is
Oh
there
my
would be
god.
that would be a that would be a hysterical scene, a policeman trying to take down a cat.
And the cat just fucking wrecking him.
I it just I would lose it laughing. Just like literally it would be a Marmaduke scene but with a cat and I love it.
Yeah. That'd be an ACAB cat for sure.
Oh man, the cat's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a peace bond. I could have this.
Yeah. Fuck this.
Oh man. Well, thanks for tuning in to Brew Crime. You can find us on all social media platforms at Brew Crime. We have a Facebook group at Brew Crime the Group. If you'd like to support the show, head to patreon.com/brewcrime now. The money goes towards upgrading equipment and making the show that much better. And you get one bonus episode a month, as well as early ad-free access to our episodes. So shout out to our Patreon supporters, True Crime Nana, Three Beers In, and the faves of our lives. Cheers.
Let me out.
All cases in Brew Crime are written by Mike and JT or a writer we credit on the episode, and sources are put into our show notes for each episode. We always want to give credit to the people that research the cases we talk about. Check out our store at tpublic.com/stores/brew-crime-podcast, where you can purchase gear like t-shirts, phone cases, stickers, pillows, and all kinds of other cool stuff. Brew Crime's intro was created by Mike using Creative Commons Attribution licensed audio from purple-planet.com, soundbible.com, and freesoundeffects.com. Logo designed by Ben Greenberg. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brew Crime Podcast.
Hi there, Oz here from the Oddball Aussie Podcast. If you're not listening to the Oddball Aussie Podcast, then you're missing out. You're missing out on cryptids, aliens, ghosts, and a ton of weird stuff. We've even got urban legends and crazy conspiracy theories. So if you want to hear the weird tales and lame dad jokes from the brain of a slightly deranged Aussie, then tune in to the Oddball Aussie Podcast. New episodes every week. You can find me where all good podcasts are found. Look after each other and stay safe out there in the weird.
It works regardless.
It's working. It's working.
Bazinga.
Are you playing the audio?
Can you not hear it?
No.
Ah, I didn't share this audio properly this time. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Take
Clap.
two.
Zinc.
Welcome to Brew Crime, the podcast where we talk. Oh, fuck. I just had three
do
things
we?
on my mind all at once. And
Like any dude. Three things.
Where is it?
That's going at the end.
I just remembered that we should probably quickly share something. I'm just
Okay.
pulling it up.
Is it a bunch of conservative snowflakes freaking out over Taylor Swift? Football game?
No, but that is funny as hell.
Literally 20 seconds.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Oh, and I've been hearing people complain about that here too.
Ridiculous.
It's like you've got like a 2-3 hour game when it all the stoppages and shit, and like 40 seconds or 30 seconds, and people freak out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let me just pull up one more thing.
Snowflake now, bitch.
Yes.
It makes sense though that they want a silencer. That seems on brand.
Yeah, it's on brand.
Silence
Sounds
women.
sounds women. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up that